Hello! Is that going?
Yeah?
Yeah, good. Hello! And welcome to day 13 of the Genesis Avengers Army Advent Calendar. We just filmed day 1, so we're jumping forward quite a bit. But for you guys, it would have been 2 weeks almost since that one. So yeah, day 13 of the Genesis Avengers Army Advent Calendar. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. Unless it hasn't, unless, we've all died.
End of the world or something, yeah.
Yes. But though it'll be scheduled. So maybe people who haven't died yet will see it.
Yeah.
How's the apocalypse?
Oh, I thought you meant the end of the world will be scheduled, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No, I meant the literal end of the world.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I mean this
calendar.
Day 13 will be scheduled. Yeah. Anyway, but yes, welcome. Patreon.com/Jennifer.
Jennifer Anderson. Jennifer Aniston. Patreon.com/Jennifer Aniston.
We'll do reviews of Friends next year. Although it'll probably take more than just 1 year to review the entire thing.
That's not going to
happen. No, stop. Definitely not.
Don't make promises we are not going to keep.
Definitely not going to review that. But Genesis Avengers Army, if you'd like to contribute to the channel, the link's there. I'll write it properly. Early access, exclusive access, and requesting things for us to do. Twitter.com/Grandrazani if you'd like to get in contact with us, or
him,
or me. Well, yes, just me. And yeah, talk about Jennifer Aniston and what she's doing after Friends ended. A lot, apparently.
Yeah, she's a busy actress.
Yeah, every magazine, never. And yeah, that's about it for the plugs.
Your job's a jerk, your life's your way.
Now, should I reveal what day 13 is?
Nah, leave them in suspense the whole video.
Oh dear. No, it's for day 13, we're going to be doing a fun little video. It's not a ranking, however, it is a sort of list of sorts.
Yeah.
It is 10 underrated Doctor Who stories.
Ta-da!
Basically what Adam and I have done is we've come up with 10 stories each. We don't know what's on each other's lists.
Nope.
But it's in no particular order, it's not a ranking. But there are 10 stories each that we have, and if we snap on any of them, then we'll snap and we'll talk about them together. But yeah. It works a similar way that we did the 5 great and 5 garbage companions one we did last year.
Well, it's a bit looser. It's not as it's not. This is the most underrated and this is the least underrated.
And I think snapping tends to be more likely on these ones because it's not a list.
It's not on the same number. Yeah,
it's just do we have the same in the 10?
Yeah.
But yes, 10 underrated stories for day 13.
Lucky number 13.
And yeah, you guys let us know below like some of what stories you think are underrated and why. I'd be interested to know. And what you think of our picks and how controversial they are. Rock, paper, scissors to see who starts first?
Sure.
Paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock. Alright.
I'll go first then.
You want to go first. Alright.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first underrated story is A Town Called Mercy.
Ooh, now I don't think I chose that one, which is odd because I tend to praise that one more than you do.
You do like it more than me, I think.
Yes.
But I still very much enjoy it. It's an incredibly entertaining episode, and for the format of that season where it was blockbuster episodes, this is the one which works the best, I find. And it's the one that I find is talked about the least, because people are usually more like, because of the Rory and his dad stuff on Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, they're like, yay,
or the Power of 3.
Or the Power of 3.
Or the Angels Take Manhattan or Asylum, because those are big episodes.
because they're significant episodes, and so this one kind of usually gets forgotten in the shuffle, and people just sort of like brush it aside. Obviously, this is a generalization. I know there are people out there who like it, but in terms of, online discourse and, DWMs and stuff, Town Called Mercy, I think, is the strongest of that season by a long margin.
Yes, I absolutely agree, because and so does a lot of people will agree with me on this. Series 7 is quite a weak season. And for some people, it's even the worst one, as I found out on Twitter. And I honestly don't even necessarily disagree with that, because I do think Series 7 is very weak. However, A Town Called Mercy, I think, stands out compared to the others. One reason, Wet House.
Yes.
One of Matt Smith's best performances and best characterizations.
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah,
it's
I love
Western.
I personally find Matt Smith's Doctor at his best when there is a rage. There's like this old, ancient, angry soul just under the surface of this kind of childish front, because it makes that childishness so much more compelling, because you're like, well, that's not him. That's him, trying to, or forgetting his darkness, and that makes it much more compelling to me, and that's quite prominent in this episode. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about Town Called Mercy. It's underlooked at, and it's often overlooked. It's great. Watch it again.
Best of Series 7.
5.
Well, at least from the episodes from 1 to 13.
Yeah.
Not including specials, but like best of Series 7 itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not on my list, but I did consider it, I think.
Yeah.
I just think that I don't think I quite froth over it like I used to. Because I do think it does suffer a little bit of that Series 7 limit.
Mm-hmm.
But of the episodes within Series 7, it does the best with it.
Yep, sure. No worries. That makes sense.
But I think a few years ago, it definitely would have been on this list. And I think another reason for that is because I've watched a lot of stories since then.
Yeah.
Particularly from Classic Who.
Yes.
But my first one is not from Classic Who. It is from Series 1.
Yes.
The best series of Doctor Who. Boomtown. Boomtown. Another episode that you've said is underrated, but isn't on your list?
No, it was just missed the cut. Because I think it's recently had a bit of a reappraisal. Just in certain circles and stuff, Obviously, this is just our experience and what we've discovered. We're not the be-all and end-all voice of the fandom, evidently. But what we've encountered in terms of accumulating general opinions, Boomtown, I think, had an upswing, especially since Christopher Eccleston's public sort of, he's become much more warm and embracing of what was some brilliant work that he did, despite all the bullshit politics behind the scenes that, fucked them over or whatever happened. I think now that people are people realise he's actually much warmer on the show. People are going back and reevaluating his era and find that Boomtown is one of the best episodes because of him.
Yep. His last ever performance as the Doctor.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. Filler episode written on the back of his paper. Russell T. wrote it the year that it came out, so 3 months before it came out, he was writing it and making it. It has a great political plot with the nuclear, thing that Margaret's got going on. It's a great epilogue to Aliens of London World War III.
Yes.
It's a great setup for Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways.
Yep.
It has some. It is the sort of when people tend to. I've had a conversation with people before about something to do with when comparing Davies and Moffat, and it's interesting because in a general sense outside of Doctor Who I tend to be much more fond of fantasy than soap opera, much more so, especially when it comes to the mainstream culture. However, this is an exception to the rule where I think the soap opera in Boomtown is amazing, especially between the Doctor and Margaret.
Oh god, yeah. Brilliant stuff.
It is very grounded character drama and it makes the series feel deep, not in the same way that others do. Like there are other seasons, like for example, recently me and Callum did a reaction review of Mission to the Unknown, which is a prologue to Daleks' Master Plan, which makes the universe feel big because it introduces planets and characters outside of the Doctor and the TARDIS. With this, it does it the same, but it's on Earth. Earth characters. And I really, really like that.
Sort of in a very loose way, it's a little bit of a precursor to Torchwood.
It is. Well, Boomtown, in a lot of ways, feels like an episode of Torchwood.
Yeah, it's kind of like an unofficial Torchwood pilot. I think.
And it takes place in Cardiff.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Boomtown.
It is the ideal filler episode, basically, and I think it's very underrated, like overlooked, underrated. And one of the main reasons people tend to forget about it is because it comes in between two of the best stories.
Yeah.
But when you stick Boomtown in another season, I think it would be strong. Like if Boomtown was in Series 7, it would be my favourite.
Oh,
if
for sure.
Boomtown was in Series 6, it would be one of my favourites. If Boomtown, same thing with a couple of others. It's brilliant.
It is so good.
Your second choice for an underrated story.
I'm going to go back to the classics. The Creature from the Pit.
Snap!
It's fucking great. It's so entertaining. I don't know what this is all about.
It's a big green cock.
Yes, there is the green space fellatio. But other than that one weak element, it's a very fun Tom Baker story. It's nothing special, but it's nowhere near as bad as people make it out to be.
And Chris Barry's direction is gorgeous.
It's so cool, and there's some really, really funny moments in it. Go and watch our reaction to it. Like, when they're trying to break through the wall and the Doctor just walks from the other side. It's great. Creature from the Pit is great. We've done a whole really long video. We don't need to dwell too much on this. It's great.
And it's one of the very, very, very few times in Classic Who that there's actual funny comedy with K9.
Yeah.
Everything else he's in is shit.
But it's great.
Tom Baker's great. The script is hilarious. Why do people hate it? It's
entertaining. It's so entertaining.
Yeah, and
give it it's one of those ones where if it's sort of like a rainy Sunday afternoon and you're just sort of stuck indoors and you just kind of want to put a fire on and just watch something, put on Creature from the Pit.
Yeah, and the main villain, the female character, she was really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really liked it. Felt like her performance felt very much like theatre, but I really enjoyed it.
It suited. It was great.
Nothing beats the joke though, when they're spending an entire episode trying to open a doorway and Tom Baker just runs through it from the other side.
It's brilliant. Watch it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yes. It's just talking about, because Boomtown obviously has a big farting green alien thing.
Yeah.
Green Creature of the Pit, big green penis monster. Like, fucking grow up.
That's great.
Grow up. Penises are funny.
Yeah, they are. The episode's funny.
It's hilarious.
Not ironically either. Like, genuinely, unironically, it is a funny script.
Yes. I have two now.
Yep.
So, do we go back to you, or do you want me to do a third one and then you...
Yeah, we'll just... Yeah,
okay.
Because it's not a...
Sticking with Classic Who, my third choice for an underrated story is The Keys of Marinus from the first season.
Yeah.
So, people don't like this story because it looks cheap. It looks really cheap.
Yeah.
It's Doctor Who from the $2 shop. And it also, like Boomtown, comes in between two very iconic classics, that being Marco Polo and the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Marco Polo and the Aztecs being very, very, almost quite serious historicals that are, they're legitimate. And it's John Lucarotti's writing, who is amazing. Keys of Marinus was written on the back of a pamphlet by Terry Nation, because they said, oh, you wrote the Daleks, we need something else as well. But why do I like it? I think it's because I like quests.
Yeah.
This is a 6-parter, but every single episode takes place in a different bit. It's like 6 mini stories in one.
Yeah, it's like watching someone having a really engaging Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Yeah. It's like, Infinity War, but the 60s are not nearly as impactful, but it's really fun. It's like if Infinity War was like a romp without Thanos.
I mean, it kind of is a romp.
Yeah, and instead of the collecting stones to kill everyone, it's just collect the keys to get the TARDIS back because someone took it. It's
like an old NES Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And it's got a bit of everything. If you like a bit of variety, it's got a bit of everything. It's all the different sort of tropes of Hartnell's Eirich in one. And it's the first appearance of the Vortex Manipulator.
That's right.
In the Doctor Who universe. So it has a connection to Torchwood. But you know, it's got an atmospheric jungle episode. It's got a chase around a bunch of corridors. It's got Ian and Barbara being saucy, and then there's a murder mystery. And the Vorta look very cheap, but it's great. Keys of Marinus is so much fun, and why do people not like it? It's brilliant. And the perfect little bumper between Marco Polo and the Aztecs.
Yes.
Very underrated. Your third choice.
I'm going to go for one that's not the classic series, and it's not the new series. I'm going to go for the TV movie.
Ah. It's not on my list.
It's not great, but I think there is so much more to like than generally gets appreciated. Namely, Paul McGann. He's incredible in it. And this is sort of like a personal taste thing. I kind of enjoy, in a very sort of dark humour sense of way, how fucked the Seventh Doctor's regeneration is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the first time I saw that, I thought I put in the wrong DVD. Even though there was the TARDIS, there was the thing at the beginning, there was the music. Best version of the theme song. Don't at me. It's so good.
Only matched by the Eighth Doctor's Big Finish theme.
Yeah. I also love the War Masters theme. It's so good. It's so good. And yes, Eric Roberts is shite in it. Grace, I think, is a genuinely good companion.
Yeah, I find the romance stuff a bit flat.
The romance, not good, but her as a character by herself, removed from the romantic subplot. Yeah. I think she's
really good for like the whole post-regeneration trauma thing.
And I also just love how batshit the movie is.
Yeah.
Like, her introduction, she's at an opera and she's crying. I can't remember which opera it is, but you know, it's at the peak of someone's at one of the songs, one of the pieces, and she's wearing this ball gown, and she gets her beeper goes off because she needs to go to surgery. So in slow motion, she's running down the hospital hallway in this elegant, gorgeous operatic ball gown, and then she puts on her hospital gear, and then they dive right in, and then the Seventh Doctor is like, "You can't help me! You can't help me!" And then he fucking dies.
And it's one of the darkest Doctor Who scenes ever made.
Yeah.
Because of how it's directed.
Yeah, and then he dies, and then bloody what's his face is watching Frankenstein.
The fat guy. I don't know
what's his name? He's a comedian. He's been in like Shameless and shit. In the Three Stooges. He's.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. There is the thing of it feels like an American TV show.
Well, I think it feels like a 90s New York movie. You know.
But it doesn't feel like a 90s New York movie made by New Yorkers.
No.
It feels like Have you ever seen Godzilla Final Wars?
No, I've only seen King of Monsters, which is the most recent one.
Well, Godzilla Final Wars is a bit like King of Monsters, except there's more monsters and
less Charles Dance.
Less Charles Dance, but more Gun Carter aliens that split someone's head in half, and there's a fish inside. It's great. But there's a scene where, because the premise is a kaiju appears in each major city around the world, right? You get the American Godzilla shows up in Sydney, Australia, and gets smashed into the Opera House. Like it's a dig at the American film, because the American Godzilla is standing there, then the Japanese Godzilla walks up to it, sees it, and just spins its tail and immediately kills it. But anyway, there's a scene where Rodan is the pterodactyl.
Yeah. He
ends up in New York City, and there's a street. There's a pimp. Like, when you think of a stereotypical pimp, that's him. Mm-hmm. And he throws some trash on the ground or something. And this New York cop walks up to him and he says, "Hey, yo, why you doing that? Huh?" And he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do to stop me, huh?" "Oh, I'm packing heat." And they pull out their, oversized guns and stuff. And then the homeless man's like, "Whoa, hey, look at that." And they both turn around and they're like, "Oh my God." And the film feels a little bit like that scene. It's kind of equally as batshit, but for different reasons. But I think the movie is... This is a very sort of, like, personal one, because, like, it's just fucked enough that I can enjoy it, even though the story is kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
And I ironically enjoy Eric Roberts' performance, because it's not intimidating, but, like,
I always dress
for the occasion. He was on...
Because he's a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like if Doctor Who was a Joel Schumacher Batman film.
Except better.
Yeah.
Though I will defend, like, 3 scenes in Batman Forever.
Yeah, but nothing from Batman and Robin.
Is there anything I would defend in Batman and Robin?
It's pretty fucking horrible. When I was a kid, I thought it was clever that Robin wore fake lips.
And the worst thing is, you can tell they were trying to do the 1960s Adam West Batman, except they just completely... Anyway, there. Doctor Who TV movie, good. / pilot. There's another name for it, but I'm not sure. I'm just glad they didn't go with the subplot where it was like, surprise, the Master is actually your long-lost brother. Doctor, blah, 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 blah. Because there was a version... I think Clever Dick Films covers it in his 8th Doctor video, where there was a whole pilot, and then I think at some point Steven Spielberg wanted to make it.
Ugh.
And the version we got is not great, but it's very entertaining.
Yes. As is my 4th pick.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it on my screen.
I just saw it, yeah.
The one and only Love and Monsters. I don't want to go too deep into this, mainly because we have covered it on other videos before. We did it on the... There was something about... What was one of the discussions we did for the Patreon requests? The one we did at
First
the Uni
season?
Lodge.
I
think it was...
wasn't it Defending
Experimental episodes.
That's the one.
That's the one. We just discussed a bit on that. It's been brought up before. And when we eventually get around to reviewing it, which is in a million billion years, when we resurrect Jake from the dead.
When he returns from war.
Yeah, we've no...
Whatever that is.
Which war?
All of them.
It's the war games.
Ooh. Yeah, whenever...
I love Venn diagrams. Anyway.
Whenever Jake returns.
Oh yeah, Josh Sneers uploaded he did like a poll of all the stories. He's been doing I think it's each week he does each Doctor. It's people vote for it and then he releases what the results are. War Games was number 1 for 2nd Doctor. Yes!
That's correct.
And I was on a live stream lately on Lord Star's channel where we nailed it down to the top 20 stories and the number 1 was the War Games! Yes! Though that took some strategic planning. Because I had to knock out ones that others would have put above it.
You had to play the game.
I had to play the game. Yeah.
All about the game.
Anyway. But, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Love and Monsters. I will go, obviously, more in depth to when it's more fresh on the mind. Because it's one of those ones you have to have just seen to break it down to details. But
tastes like chicken.
But I fucking adore Love and Monsters. Always have and always will, regardless of how much hate it gets. I adore it. And should I... I'm just trying to think, should I target something to talk about?
Peter Kay is hilarious.
Peter Kay is great. The Absorbaloff is great.
And the fact, it's really cool. Even though it's a generally maligned episode, it's really cool that an 8-year-old kid got to design a Doctor Who monster. That's,
He's got a YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
Got quite a lot of subs.
Yeah. But that's, good on the BBC for allowing that, but bad on the BBC for letting it get past the gate.
Oh well.
Love and Monsters, I get it, it's just not for me. It's not for me.
As is the TV movie isn't for most people either.
Yeah.
Oh
my god!
But when I say I love and Monsters, I don't mean like it's like a little thing that I enjoy. I legitimately love it, like, to pieces. And I'll get more onto it when we go more in depth, but yeah, it's not it. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. I'm speaking accurately here.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Your number 4 or 5?
4, I think.
Because you had A Town Called Mercy, Creatures
from
from the Pit, and the TV movie. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you're number 4.
The Gunslingers.
You mean the Gunfighters?
Gunfighters. Yes, the Gunfighters.
Western again.
Western again.
That one was close too. It was close.
It's good. We've covered it before, not in depth, but we've talked about it so many times about how it's an underrated episode. It's just charming, and William Hartnell's brilliant in it. And
the scene when he goes to the dentist.
Yeah.
Doc Holliday's dentist.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just...
It's got Thunderbird's voice actors in it as well.
Yeah, which is always a plus. I watched Team America last night. And it's just great. I love it. And I love Cowboys, and I love Doctor Who. And when they're put together and they're good. Good.
Have you ever seen ASDF movie videos?
Yes.
There's that one about like, hey Johnny, you gonna play the one about falling down the stairs? Like, I feel like the Gunfighters is just that joke, but the whole thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. It's a cheesy spaghetti western, and it's great.
Yeah.
And it's sad I think the reason why it's a good one to pick for a video like this is because when it came out, it was considered the worst episode of Doctor Who ever made. And it's the reason the historicals died. It's got a great shootout as well.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
Your number 4.
5.
5.
My number 5 is a story that will be coming out on DVD soon as an animation. It is The Faceless Ones.
Ooh.
So, I think I'm going to be very interested to see when this DVD comes out. Because I know that the last 2 episodes do drag this story down a bit in quality, because the end of the story is not what it should be. It's a little bit disappointing, I think. But focusing purely on the execution of the first 4 episodes, I think this is far better at doing a chameleon story than Terror of the Zygons is. And that's a big call, because Terror of the Zygons is a very iconic story. But the Faceless Ones, oh my god. Terror of the Zygons, but at the airport with the second Doctor and Jamie. It's so good. And the lady who plays Queen Victoria plays like a one-off companion. I think she's called Samantha in that story.
Yeah.
She has a great romantic story with Jamie. She doesn't stick around. The deception of the chameleons is so much more hidden in this than it is in any other story. Like,
yeah,
and also I think I may have mentioned this on air before. One of my biggest nitpicks, especially in sci-fi, but Doctor Who specifically, is when cloning is overused and used wrong, which is why I get quite annoyed at stories like the Android Invasion or the Flash 2-parter, because I feel like those don't live up to the concept. But the Faceless Ones, this does. This story absolutely nails the cloning.
Also, just a slight recommendation, because I was watching it the other day. Star Trek episode from the original series, The Enemy Within. If you like clone stories...
I've heard of that.
It's the most iconic Shatnerian performance. I'm Captain Kirk! You know, it's that level.
Yeah.
But if you like clone stories, give that a watch. But no, yeah, you're right. That's really good.
Yeah, and
it's a good show.
It has one of my favourite cliffhangers in all of Doctor Who, and that is when the plane flies into space. Oh, it's fucking amazing. I can't wait to see it on animation.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great when we get around to react to that, like we did with Macroterra.
Yeah.
Faceless Ones, for a long time, has been forgotten and not thought about, mainly because it's a missing story. But it is I think, iconic for me, chameleon cloning story in Doctor Who, more so than Terror of the Zygons. I just think maybe some people who are more critical tend to push it down because the last 2 episodes don't live up to the rest. But fucking hell, man, Faceless Ones is great, and much better than people say. Your 5th one?
Revenge of the Cybermen.
Oh, it's not on my one.
It's fine. I think because of where it falls in the series timeline, it's such a step down. There's no denying that.
It's the weakest of season 12.
Yeah, with no question. But I still think it's very solid. It's a fairly basic run around kind of thing, and the Cybermen, whatever.
It's like if Nightmare in Silver was good.
Basically, but I still find it very, very entertaining, and it's one where a lot of people are like, oh, it's such a lackluster way to end the season. Yeah, but it's still good. It's entertaining. It's not offensively bad. Nothing, it's nothing untoward happens. Nothing confusing.
Yeah.
It's just solid, basic.
And one of the ways I describe season 12 is it feels like a 5-course dinner.
Yeah.
Where Genesis of the Daleks is the main course and Revenge of the Cybermen's the dessert.
Yeah.
It's just the bit of fun at the end.
Exactly. It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but it's not terrible.
Harry Sullivan is an imbecile.
It's great. Yeah. Well, it's not great. It's good.
Yeah, and also I think it gets it's a bit awkward because it's the only Cyberman story from the 70s.
Yeah.
Though they do briefly have a video in Carnival of Monsters, I think.
Yes.
But
that doesn't really count.
Doesn't really count. But it's the only one in between the invasion and Earthshock, which is a big long gap.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's not shit though. It's
decent. That's why I put it on this list, is because it is a decent story. It's just lackluster in comparison to what came before it.
Yes. My next one. Mm-hmm. Now I know we're not doing it in a particular order, but if we were, this would be number 1.
Okay.
In my opinion, the most underrated episode of Doctor Who in the entire show is Gridlock.
Hang on.
Did you not put it on your list?
Because it's so high in my head that I don't even consider it underrated.
It's alright, we don't...
No, I'm gonna cut one of them, and I'm gonna say snap.
Just cut Revenge of the Cybermen.
No, I'm gonna cut a different one.
Okay.
That one can fuck off. Gridlock! It's Russell T Davies' favourite for a reason. It's... So, it was your choice, you'd say.
Yep. It's the episode where 10th Doctor became my favourite. It's great. The way it concludes the New Earth trilogy makes it so much better than what it was. The Face of Bow arc ending is perfect. The way it ties into Captain Jack is amazing. The way this story revolves around not only the 10th Doctor as a character, but Martha as a character. The cat people are great. All of the different cars they go into are great.
There's so much imagination.
Yeah. The Macra are back.
Yeah.
The religious element of it is really interesting, especially considering Davies is an atheist. The way that he sort of used that as a theme, I really enjoy. The way he sort of makes New Earth's culture feel like a family almost. It's
this kind of hope. That's a big thing.
Abide with me.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing with Series 3 as a whole. Is there's this sense of no matter how bleak things are, there is, as sort of sappy as it is, it's so well told and well set up in terms of its themes.
One of my favourite twists though is the fact that when they go. I think they escape the cars.
Yeah.
They go to the council and they're all dead.
Yeah, it's just the Face of Bo doing what he can to keep hope alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because we find out later he was inspired by the Doctor when he was Captain Jack.
Yep.
Because Russell T Davies is fucking genius.
And then you add on top of that all the little things like the envy, lust stickers, all the stuff with Martha as well.
Murray Gold.
Yeah.
We should do an episode which is just ranking Murray Gold tracks, except they're all just number 1.
Yeah. All of Heaven Sent.
Just all of it.
All of Bad Wolf Parting of the Ways.
Yeah. I want to get the Heaven Sent soundtrack on vinyl.
All of Series 3.
All of Series 3. So good.
Yeah. Anyway, but Gridlock is a masterpiece. I can't wait to review it.
Oh. if Jake doesn't like it. That's his opinion. That'll be his opinion, and that's fine.
Seeing as you snapped, I suppose it goes back to you for your 7th?
Okay. Returning to Series 3, the Shakespeare Code. People seem to overlook this one a lot.
I used to do it a lot, actually. I'll admit.
In terms of functionality of a plot, in terms of it's not game-changing, it's not revolutionary, but in the way it tells a historical fantasy story using a historical, incredibly fictionalized version of a historical figure, you know, playing around with the whole he's bisexual thing, you know, it's just, as a kid who grew up reading Shakespeare and watching Doctor Who, seeing the worlds combine, and then also it resolves with him, you know, saying, I'm not even that huge of a fan of Harry Potter, but that's just such a sweet, like, oh, that's so British. You know?
Makes sense, because earlier in the episode they were talking about it, and the fact the Doctor had read Deathly Hallows, but it hadn't come out yet.
Yeah. And ignoring the fact that he was Barty Crouch. Yeah. But it was, I just really love, it's such a, the pace is incredible. Again, I love the way when they enter a place, the music is usually really similar, except the instruments are changed for whatever period they are in.
Carionite Swarm.
Yeah, the Carionite Swarm. And I named the whole imagination about their power coming from words. That's a great idea.
Especially for a Shakespeare.
Exactly, the greatest poet who ever was.
I really like the scene where the guy's choking on the water, but it's not because he was.
It's because it's voodoo. It's witchcraft.
He's drowning, but he's not underwater.
Yeah, and it's such a cool image of him just constantly spitting up water.
Yes. and one of the best, for me anyway, one of the best things about the Davies era is hammy villains.
Yes. Oh, and they're so hammy.
Yeah.
They're so wonderfully hammy. And I also love that, even though it's such a sort of fun episode, they give William Shakespeare humanity, because the whole thing about him basing Hamlet off of his dead son was real.
And I think he, unless I'm forgetting someone, I think he's the first person that sees through the psychic paper.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think Charles Dickens does.
No.
But yeah, Shakespeare does. He says this paper is blank. And that's such a great detail that he really is that great mind. And I love the fact that the Doctor will say a quote from Shakespeare and Shakespeare's like, that's very good. And he'll, obviously, it's like a self-fulfilling thing. Or the Shakespeare will have forgotten he wrote it and he's like, it's yours. Or I think he quotes Marlowe at one point. It was a contemporary of Shakespeare. And he's like, you can't have that one, it's taken.
Yeah. The only nitpick I have, there's a few, but specifically one that I can think of off the top of my head is, why wasn't Martha in a period costume?
Yeah, but you... Whatever.
Oh, and it ties the Day of the Doctor!
Yes, it does!
Because his wife comes after him.
Elizabeth, yeah.
And he has no idea what it is because he hasn't got to it yet.
That's such a funny gag to end the episode on.
It's funny because
the Queen finally comes around, because that was set up beforehand, that the Queen never comes and visits the globe.
Yeah.
And then she's coming, and they're like, oh, great! And the Doctor's like, great, I get to meet the Queen! And then suddenly, she's like, kill him! That's so much fun. That's
the fact that Moffat managed to pay that off in Day of the Doctor.
That was brilliant.
So funny.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Timey-wimey. Yeah. I think when I was a kid, I felt obliged to like it because my dad likes Shakespeare Code.
Yeah.
But I think as I've gotten older, rewatching it, especially with you talking to me about it, I've started to be like, yeah, actually, you know what? It's not all that bad.
I think it's just such it's not special necessarily, but it's such a tight script. And also the fact that in terms of Martha and the Doctor's story, the way it plays into the larger picture as well, as every episode does, except for 42 minus a couple of scenes.
I just got a message from Callum. Apparently his go-to drinks are Pepsi Max and Orange Fanta. There you go. Fun fact
of Callum of the day. You can put that up and
I've been
text
telling him about drinking LMP because it's a New Zealand drink and he's never had it. Though I'm not sure how he would access it.
Have any of you tried L&P? The answer is no, but if you have, let us know.
Yes.
But yes, Shakespeare Code is fucking great. It's so much fun. It's one that I can just put on anytime and it'll put me in a good mood.
Yeah.
Love it.
Though your bias towards it is obvious because it's Shakespeare.
Yes, but it's Shakespeare done in a fun way. Like it's Shakespeare done in a reverent, fun way.
Yeah.
That's it's fun.
it's all the things. It's one of those episodes that has all these different things that you like in Doctor Who
Yeah.
in one.
Yeah.
Series 3, the 10th Doctor, Martha Jones, and Shakespeare.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
It's great. And just, slightly weird and fucked up villains.
Yeah.
Like...
And I like how, how the whole thing of Last of the Time Lords, Russell found a way to connect all the episodes into it.
Yeah.
With Shakespeare, he did not to do. He's just like, Martha's just like, yeah, and I met Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's it. That's great.
Yes.
And the fact that it is kind of one of the filler episodes, and it's that fun. Better than
Gareth Roberts first, I think, for Doctor Who.
I believe so.
Or at least the TV show. Yeah. Is it time for my 7th choice?
Go for it.
My 7th choice is one of my all-time favourite John Pertwee stories. Frontier in Space.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Oh, so those of you who have seen my top 10 Pertwee stories list, you'll know that this is my second favourite Pertwee story behind the Green Death. I fucking love this story, and I don't know why people think it's not good. It's basically Star Wars before Star Wars, and it has the Master in it. It's amazing. The deception, the Draconians. The Draconians think that they are being attacked by humans, but it's Ogrons in disguise.
Yeah.
Which causes them to have a war, because the humans think the Draconians are attacking them, but the Ogrons are as the Draconians. And so it builds back and forth. And the fact that when both sides ask the Doctor and Joe about the truth, and they're telling the truth, and they still don't believe them, even when they do a lie detector test, shows how much this war has impacted their mind.
Yeah.
And then in episode 3, when the Master turns up, everything gets better, because he's like, I can capture this and make it all more interesting. And then there's a chase across space, and it's beautiful. It's so good. I love the detours the story takes. It's a bit like the War Games, where it's a massive saga.
Yeah.
And there's like a little bit, I think he goes to like a colony on the moon.
Yeah.
And it's got you didn't even need to have it in the story, but it's such a brilliant bit of filler. Frontier in Space for me is a really big example of why I love Malcolm Hulke as a writer. The fact that he blends together not only political stories, but also with wild imaginative fantasy, but also it's got so much scale to it. And then the fact that it's revealed at the very end that it was all set up by the Daleks. Oh my god! It's so good! Oh, Frontier in Space.
It's brilliant. Give it a rewatch.
The only thing that I don't like about it is that it's directly connected to Planet of the Daleks, which I don't dislike, but I don't think lives up to the conclusion of that story. But Frontier by itself, very underrated story.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do have to have your brain switched on for it, but if you do, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's bloody good.
Excellent.
Your 8th choice?
It's quite similar to my last choice in many respects. It's the Unicorn and the Wasp.
The next Gareth Roberts story.
The next Gareth Roberts story. Much like Shakespeare Code pays reverence to the bard himself, which is such a pretentious way. It's Shakespeare. Whatever. There are many bards. Whatever. But this Agatha Christie story, I just love how it immediately feels like you're watching Poirot on TV. It just happens to have a giant flying wasp in it. It's got all the... It's not quite a parody. It's a loving... It's a slight piss take, but it's a loving one to that genre. I love murder mysteries. And having the Doctor and Donna having their banter thrust into the middle of this Agatha Christie murder with Agatha Christie herself, it's such a simple Doctor Who-y concept that boils down what I love about fun Doctor Who. And it's to the point, it's you know, it's the plot is needlessly excessive with lots of silly details. Just like
the dream sequence is so funny.
But it's just like an Agatha Christie story where all the characters have a lot of reasons that they could potentially have done it.
And I've always had a theory that, you know, the Doctor's dream sequence from that story.
Yeah.
I've always had a theory that that's the one from Blink.
Yes, yeah.
They need to do a big finish of that.
Yeah,
that story. 10th Doctor Adventures with Martha. Yeah. That story where what are they doing? They're in
a jungle and they're...
One thing, or two things, three things, and a lizard.
Yes, it's amazing. But this episode is just... It's one of these ones I can just watch and just have a blast with. Obviously, it's not on the tier of Midnight. It's not on the tier of Silence in the Library, in the Forest of the
which I think may be one of the reasons why it gets a little bit flat, because it's right before the...
Yeah, exactly.
It's right before the Series 4, like... when it goes like, into overdrive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I still think it's just such a fun episode, and the way it's directed and like it's made to look like a BBC Hercule Poirot production. You know, it's designed to look like that, and it does it so well. I get why if you're not a fan of that genre, it'll fall flat because it's like, well, whatever. But as someone who does enjoy that genre and how sort of pulpy it can get, having the Doctor Who spin on that, I really, really like.
And not only does it have Felicity Jones in it,
yes,
but it also has David Tennant's dad.
Yes, right. As the waiter.
He's the butler. I think.
Oh, yes, she is. I think he's just waiting glasses on that first opening tracking shot. And also how they give Agatha Christie real dimension to her and the fact that her disappearance for 4 days or however long it was just her taking a trip in the TARDIS. That's a great Doctor Who way to tie up a historical mystery. It's just fun. I really like it, and I also like how it's funny with the man in the wheelchair when Doctor's like, and you, General, or whatever, Captain, and he gives this whole speech about how I can actually walk, I just wanted you to stick by me, I didn't want you to leave me after I'd finished the war. And he's like, well, I was actually going to say you were innocent. It's so good. I love it.
Yes.
Love that episode.
Yes. Moving on to my eighth pick. So, now, interestingly, I think in the past this would have been different, especially with the general audience, what I'm about to say. However, in recent years, out of every story on this list, this is the one that gets the most hate.
Ooh.
More than Love and Monsters, funnily enough. In the old days, it would have been definitely Love and Monsters. Like
The Idiot's Lantern.
No, fuck no, not that piece of shit. Never. That one's overrated just because people don't say it's last for Series 2 or second to last or whatever, you know, not... Anyway.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So, especially in recent years, I think out of all the stories on this list, I think this one gets the most hate. And whilst I do understand some of the criticism it gets, for me personally, and for you, I know this for sure, I think this story...
I'm just going to say snap before you even say it. I think I figured it out. Just go.
It is the infamous Daleks in Manhattan.
Snap!
/ evolution of the Daleks.
It is so good! Snap! It is so good! I do not get the hate. Here you go. I'm too pent up. Here you go.
So one thing that Callum has said to me a lot about the story is he really doesn't like the New York setting. He finds it distracting. However, I really do like it.
It's great. It's so good.
And just the fact that it's got it's so like not American but American.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's also one of my favourite performances from Tennant as the Doctor.
Yeah.
He's so good in it. And all of the side characters are fucking incredible. Even though they are cartoonish.
Tallulah!
I'm sorry. And Andrew Garfield, Tallulah.
What the fuck is he doing in this story?
I don't know.
Fucking Captain Panaka from Phantom Menace playing
yes,
Solomon.
That's right. And I love how Solomon gives this big speech of, we're here, you know, we believe in peace, blah, blah, blah. And the Daleks are just like, and just, it's fucked. And the human Dalek hybrid.
I am a human Dalek.
And it's probably my ears, but as a kid, I always heard the as it is a human Dalek.
And I always hear his voice as Seth MacFarlane's Family Guy characters.
Oh yes.
Yes.
But it's. I mean,
And it's
we should save a lot of
and
this.
it feels, and what I love about it is it feels like an 80s classic story, like a Colin Baker story.
Colin Baker would fit right in.
It's got the classic, like, hiding behind walls,
Yeah.
disgusting monster.
Yeah.
Henchmen
that are just. Ugh. And that setting, which is like an incredibly stylized version of XYZ.
And it has quite possibly the most disgusting scene in all of Doctor Who, is when the fucking mafia guy gets enraptured in the Dalek skin. It's like, it's just, it's so yuck.
From what we're saying, this might sound like we don't like the episode, but we love it.
But that's the thing, though. It's got this sort of paradoxical effect where it's so yuck that it's fun.
but it's also one of these things with the script, though it's very techno-babbly and there's a bit of a Deus Ex Machina. It's strung along so well. It's structured so well. It plays with such a good pace.
Yeah. And also, I really like how it's sort of like the middle act of the Cult of Skaro arc between Doomsday and Journey's End.
Yeah.
And my favourite part of the whole story is the sort of climax when the Doctor's like, one more left. And he's facing down Dalek Khan. And obviously Dalek Khan, emergency temporal shift. But the fact that, you know, the Doctor got so close to exterminating the Daleks ties into his whole character.
And then I'm sure Russell had a vague idea. I'm sure it wasn't that well thought out, but the fact that him getting away in this episode led to Davros coming back.
The only thing I would say I really don't like about this two-parter is the marketing. Mainly because of the fact that it's called Daleks in Manhattan. Spoils the twist. The brilliant twist of it coming down the elevator.
It's so good!
And it feels like something from like a Jerry Anderson production. Like the ticking and then...
Yeah, it's...
Straight out of Classic Who. And, and the fact that in the trailers they revealed it. I don't like that, but the story within itself, viewed blindly with no knowledge of the episode titles, I think it's far better than people say it is.
And also, I like how they go from New York to New York.
Yeah.
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 But it's it's so underrated. It's amazingly underrated because I just don't get the hate. It's so entertaining. It's so much fun. It's disgusting, and I love it.
Yeah, and I love the whole like the dance bit, like what the Angel Got the Devil in Me. Like that
exactly.
whole bit too.
Working on Broadway, doing it, it's. Which obviously comes back in when End of Time when Captain even though that has nothing to do with those stories, it's just a fun little
and there's such a funny scene when it's like a Dalek water cooler scene when they're like, what do you think of Dalek sick? And then it turns its head around to look around its shoulder and it goes back and goes
it's great.
He's scheming against Dalek sick.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I think I may not be able to win you over with Love and Monsters, but I feel like this is like Love and Monsters if it was a Dalek story.
I cannot wait to do this story with Jake.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what he'll think of it.
No. Yeah, he's very unpredictable.
Yeah. And uncontactable.
Yes.
Anyway.
Idiot Slanton killed him.
MIA. But no, Daleks in Manhattan is ace. Except not the character.
No.
The term of endearment ace.
And I really like Martha in it as well.
Yes!
And people don't say they don't like the setting. Like, I think the campground with Solomon thing looks great.
And it's such a, obviously it's
There's one shot in my mind that I always remember. It's like, I don't know if it's a tent or just like a structural thing, but there's a shot in the direction on Martha when she's in that campground that sticks with me. I'm sure if I ever get to a reaction of it, I'll point it out, but there's some good direction in this story.
That's brilliant direction.
Oh, and the moment when the Doctor is dissecting.
Yes, and he figures it out that it's Scarab. He's like, the coordinates, that would be... No. It's just... Oh.
Why don't people like this story?
I don't know.
And not only people don't like it, it's like 99%
Yeah.
don't like it. It's vast majority.
I don't understand.
Oh,
It's so much fun.
I'm pretty sure on the DWM it's like the lowest rated Dalek story ever.
Boo. It's great.
This pisses all over the Matt Smith Dalek stories by a million miles. Unless you're going to reveal that one of your underrated is like Victory or Asylum.
No, my...
Is it you next?
I don't know.
Is it your number 9?
Because I snapped on you.
Yeah, is it? I think it might be... You got 2 left, right?
No.
Have a look at your list.
Done that one, 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 done that one. I've got 1 left.
Oh, I've got 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go for my number 9.
Yep.
Then you do your 10 and I'll do my 10.
Yep.
My number 9 is another Pertwee story by Malcolm Hulk. It's Invasion of the Dinosaurs. I was talking before about one of my favourite, talking about Genesis of the Daleks in Day 1, which we recorded earlier today, about some of my favourite Sarah Jane episodes. This might be my favourite Sarah Jane. Because her involvement in the story is brilliant. The fact that as a journalist she's investigating the what's going on here, but she's investigating in the way that you would investigate any normal crime. But in this story, it's all a lie, and all the people that she needs to report these things to are the ones that are in charge of what's going on here. This story, in a lot of, if any of you have seen Marvel, this is basically Unit Civil War.
Yeah.
It's Benton versus Yates with Brigadier and his boss. Brigadier's boss turns up to this, and the Third Doctor. The Third Doctor in this. Oh my god, he is brilliant. Yeah. And why don't people like this story? Because the dinosaurs look like shit? Sure. But everything else is immaculate.
It's great.
Oh!
It's proper good Pertwee stuff.
It is so good. Just from the, coming back from the Time Warrior to a empty sort of wasteland.
Yeah.
It's Britain, but it's like, where is everyone? Dinosaurs. They get captured. Aikido's his way out, but then he gets caught, and then blah blah blah, and then Pertwee having to deal with authority as he always does. The fact that Mike Yates is bordering on evil because of his political views on, and the fact that the plot of this story revolves around population control is very, very fucked up. It's like Pertwee's turn left, but he's actually there.
Yeah.
And the fact that Sarah Jane thinks she's been on a spaceship for 2 weeks, she gets captured and lied to, and then escapes. People,
I think, generally, because they sort of might watch it once and not really take it in, and sort of, not that they weren't paying attention or anything, but just, like, maybe they watched it when they were younger or something and remember the dinosaurs. That's what sticks out.
That's the only part that's not great.
And that's the thing, is people, and it's also the name of their story, it evokes this kind of, schlock feeling, when actually it's a lot more than that. It's proper good.
It's fucking amazing. And very underrated.
Yeah.
What's your 10th pick?
Speaking of 10, now, this is a multi-part story. However, the final part is often looked down upon.
I think I know where this is going.
Now, it's great. It has so many plot elements and tropes that I usually hate in storytelling. But not in this, because it's all set up and earned. It's not contrived. It's fucking great. And that is the last of the Time Lords and the Sound of Drums. I mean, what can I say? Well, I don't want to give too much away because we've got to eventually do this. But all I'll say is the criticism it usually gets of it being very Deus Ex Machina is valid. But everything else around that, every piece in such a gargantuan fuck of an episode, the cliffhanger between the episodes, you're like, how do you undo this? And having a time... It's Endgame to what Infinity War is. Only better. It's so good. And it just... I have a lot to say about it. And if I start, it'll be here for a while. So I'll save that for recapping Series 3 and reviewing the episodes. But I'll just say... The tropes that I usually don't like, sudden Deus Ex Machina, time reversal, things like that, they are earned in this one because of what the characters go through. And those core characters, the ones that we have grown to know through this season, they are all still affected by the events of what happens. They will remember. It's not like it's all undone.
It's not like The Lie of the Land,
yeah,
which
exactly.
has the exact same ending to a 3-part story, but doesn't work in this way.
It's not like they didn't see these things happen. It's not like they didn't go through this hell. It's not as retconny as people make it out to be. The Doctor still feels the effects of it in the next season, and Martha fucks off. Quite rightly, she is so in her right to say, I can't be here. I've seen what can happen if I go away. I need to stay put and protect this Earth. I need to take what I've learnt, which then comes back not only in the Series 4, but in Torchwood, and evidently in Big Finish now. About time. Martha's whole arc resolves in a fucking incredible way, which sets her up for great things in the future, until her very last scene on screen, but that's neither here nor there. It's so good, and I get invested in it I am glued to the screen every time I watch it.
And not only that, John Simmer's the Master.
Yep.
And Captain Jack Harkness.
Yes. And the fact that David Tennant is barely in it.
Yes. But David Tennant as an old man?
He's completely on the back foot. And it's just... I love it. I sort of understand why a lot of people are like, no. I don't like
Space Jesus.
Space Jesus. But the Space Jesus is earned. It is earned. The whole thing, everyone grows and everyone learns from their experiences, and Mr. Saxon has set it up, and the whole,
I will get back to the Space Jesus thing when we get to our other video that's relative to this one that I won't reveal.
Yeah.
That comes in the calendar. Not sure if it's before or after, I think it's after. Not sure. We'll find out, but there's another video that's similar to this one.
Yeah.
Where I'll speak about that thing in a negative light, but not to do with this episode, because I absolutely agree. It frustrates me because this is, I know, like, Utopia is very popular.
Oh, yeah.
Sound of Drums, even people that don't like John Sims Master tend to say it's a decent episode.
Yeah.
But Last of the Time Lords especially gets a lot of hate.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me because I feel like it's because people don't understand it.
And that is, I hate saying that, but it's one where it is about the events that occur, but there's so much more going on as the whole Series 3 as a whole, but also everything leading up to this for the Doctor in terms of, taking it back to the classic series and reappropriating the wilderness years and the Time War and everything. It's culminating so much that it now allows a jumping off point for the universe going from there, that the Doctor now he's a bit more on edge, and that's why in Series 4 when he gets the fun companion, he's really, goofy and likable for the most part with some few intense moments. But when she's not there, we get Midnight. And when she's not there, we get Turn Left. And when she's not there, we get Waters of Mars. And that's due to the events.
And that's the best 3 episodes in Series 4.
And that's due.
And Forrest the Dead as well, because she's trapped away.
And it's just, there's so much going on in terms of the whole narrative. But singular to this episode, I think it is so much more well-crafted and put together than people give it a lot of credit for.
Yes. I don't know how I'm going to top compared to that, because you just gave a massive why it's underrated. But my final 10th choice, I think it is a fitting one to go last on. It wasn't my original last one. My original last one was Creature from the Pit.
Yep.
Because I really want to make a point about that. But as soon as you picked it, I went snapped. It's going to be this one. And the reason why I think this one might come as a surprise to people is because it comes from last year in the Advent calendar. We did a ranking of series 1 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom one for me was 6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Series 6. So when we last did the rankings was my least favourite. So naturally, there's a lot of episodes in Series 6 I really don't like. But there is one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but I think is one of the best episodes in Matt Smith's era. And that is The God Complex.
Of course.
Not only for its creative direction, for its concept, the hotel horror.
The pun in the title.
Yeah, the hotel with the infinite staircases and the nightmare rooms, but with the direction as well. The direction's beautiful. But on my last rewatch of Series 6, I was absolutely hating Matt Smith's Doctor by that point. Well, not the previous episode before that. That's an exception. That was kind of Doctor Light anyway. But for episodes like, Let's Kill Hitler and Night Terrors, I was very, very much like, I really don't want to watch any more of this at the moment, because this is annoying the fuck out of me. God Complex. God Complex is Series 5 Matt Smith on full tilt. This is Matt Smith at his absolute best. And rewatch the God Complex and you will see the 11th Doctor that I always wanted. Because it's fucking amazing, and this should have been the departure of Amy and Rory, not Angels Take Manhattan. It's subtle, it works for the characters, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's also got a Minotaur in it. Yeah,
and it's one of the best television special effects I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. And just the simple detail of it, it's Atlas scraping the roof as it walks.
In my opinion, not by far, there is one other episode that contends with it. But for me, on the top of my head, if you force me to choose, it's my favourite episode from Series 6. And one of my favourites in the Smith era. And I think that people don't talk about it enough. I think God Complex is actually a very, 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 very good episode. And it's underrated. And that's my final choice. But yes, tell me what you think. Well, tell us what you think of our choices. Tell us why you don't like Daleks in Manhattan, even though you're wrong, because it's great, and we're the only ones in the world that understand it.
Yeah. Basically, rewatch Series 3 and realise how good it is.
Yeah, because in this video, we talked about Shakespeare Code, Gridlock, Daleks in Manhattan, even the Daleks,
Last of the Time Lords,
Sound of Drums, yeah. And I imagine in your honourable mention somewhere there's probably Lazarus Experiment as well. And probably, I think Smith & Jones is relatively popular.
I think Smith & Jones is, I thought of that, but I realised
at least the Jaduna, you know that.
Yeah.
And then, Human Nature, the rest of that's all popular. Blink.
If I put Blink on here...
Yeah, you'd be silly.
Yeah.
That'd be like saying it's underrated because it's not considered the best episode of television. That's the only way you could possibly put it on this.
Yeah, though some people do think that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wouldn't argue with them. It's really good.
I have till the rain stops.
Sally Sparrow.
the best Moffat girl, written in only in one episode.
And she's done well now. She was in Venom.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that.
Venom. That movie.
Check out our review of Venom.
Why did it get in the lobster tank? What is that movie?
Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Was it day 13? I think it is.
I think it is.
Losing count already. Hope you enjoyed day 13. Tell us what your underrated stories are, and yeah, we'll be interested to find out. Looking forward to next time. Catch us tomorrow for day 14.